I'm here to show my support for all the female members that have suffered this harassment, and I think it is a systemic harassment within the RCMP. And my experience was that my direct supervisor would call me to come back to the office when I was working graveyard shift and say that he wanted to drive around with me. I would be driving, he would be the passenger, and he would, for 8 hours on the shift, tell me that if I was friendly, that if we had a relationship, that it would be good for my career because he was doing my assessment. And this went on for a very long period of time.
Did you ever complain about this?
I did complain, yes. I complained to the other members on my watch. I complained to the officer in charge of the detachment, yes. I complained on numerous occasions.
And what happened?
Nothing happened. It wasn't stopped.
What impact did that have?
The impact that it had was that because I refused to enter into a relationship with this individual, he did my assessment about a year later, and it wasn't the assessment that I should have gotten because I felt I did a very good job, and I quit.
What was the time period that this happened?
This was over a period of 2 years. I don't know. I believe that he still continued in the force. But
Valerie, what have you heard from other women in the force? Does this sort of thing happen to other women?
yes, it does. I've heard from my troop mates who've said that we're all very, very sympathetic that different things had happened to them. Some of them won't even speak publicly because they're so ashamed of what happened, and they're so they just feel so concerned and let down by the RCMP. This was not why we joined the RCMP. We joined to have a career. We didn't join to be harassed or be humiliated or be told that our career depended on us being friendly or having relationships with our direct supervisors. So I don't believe that we were treated fairly, and we certainly weren't listened to. And when we complained, in my case, nothing was done. I'm not aware of anything ever being done about this individual.
What are you hoping will be getting the outcome?
Justice.
What
Justice
does that look like?
and a fair hearing for these women, and that they be heard once and for all because they weren't listened to before. That something is done, and that this systemic culture in the RCMP of harassment and not accepting these women as equals stops. It's got to stop. The RCMP has to look at how it's treating these women.
What exactly is your status then in regards to this case?
I'm a member of the lawsuit. I am. Yes.
Where does this take place?
In Maple Ridge.
This is in Maple Ridge.
Yes. It was Haney Detachment at the time. It's now Maple Ridge.
What rank were you at the time? What rank was this?
I was a constable, and he was a corporal.
So you left the RCMP and then you decided to go back?
I did. I quit the RCMP, and this was in '79 that I quit, and I went back in 1986 because another male member told me that it would be impossible for me to get back in, and that was all the challenge that I needed to see if I could go back in. And I did rejoin in '86 and left 2 years later. I was a single parent at that time.
Were things different for you at that time? Had changed?
At that time, I wasn't suffering harassment specifically, but my status as a single parent was difficult, was challenging. So that's the reason I left the second time.
Valerie, I know that when you started, you were among, I would say, the first group of
Yes.
women going into the force, correct?
Yes, yes.
And is it shocking to you then to see now, I mean in 2012, that some of these issues that you dealt with in the 1970s still existing?
Yes. When I read the notice of claim, when I read the other women's stories, when I keep reading them and thinking, I'm shocked that what I went through in 1977, women were accepted into the RCMP in 1974. So I thought, well, this is because we're new, and that was part of us sort of wondering what we should do about it. You know, they're not used to women in the RCMP. But the fact that it's still going on and the stories are the same, it would seem to me that nothing's changed. And that's what's really troubling. Years later, nothing has changed. It's the same culture. The same. I would say go very slowly. Go very slowly. You better think about it.
What do you think needs to happen in order for it to change?
I think the women need to be seen as equals, as peers in the RCMP. And the men that are, there are still, unfortunately, a lot of men in the RCMP that do not accept women as equals, and they need to.
But how do you make that happen?
Well, it has to start at the top. It has to start at the very top. And it's going to take time. This is not a quick fix situation. When it's been going on for so long, it's going to have to start at the top, and it's going to take time.
We've heard from the commissioner, the deputy commissioner here in BC that they're taking steps to fix the situation.
Yes.
Have you seen that?
I haven't seen it yet. No, I have not.
Do you have any faith in the words that they've used so far?
Not yet.
Did you sign on this back in March after first
Yes.
came forward?
Yep.
And why is that the catalyst for you to come forward and address these issues?
You know, I think we always felt alone, and there's always a concern. As some of the female members have said, it'll affect my career. It will affect, even if I've left the RCMP, I'll be blacklisted. And when you see other women coming forward, it gives you strength. There's strength in numbers, and I think that's what was always needed. And these women needed to be heard. I felt as though I was never heard. And when I read these stories, I thought, I wish I'd been there for them. I wish I could have talked to them and told them what I went through. So getting everyone together in this type of situation, it makes you feel stronger. United we stand.
And I think in terms of outcome, for a monetary outcome, is that?
No, I'm not hoping for I'm hoping that things change in the RCMP, because when I joined the RCMP, I was very proud to be a member. So proud to be one of the first women in the RCMP. We felt that we were really advancing things for women, that we would be game changers, and that we would be paving the way for women. And I don't feel that way now. I thought, well, what did we pave? What did we make different? It would seem that nothing's changed. So I would like the culture in the RCMP to change so that women joining it now can actually have a career and not quit after 2 years.